Amazing. You're here. You came. Yes. Wow. So amazing to be performing in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. I have had a lot of dreams in my life, but this wasn't one of them. It wasn't. I have lived in LA a long time. Earned most of my living as a personal trainer. 21 years in Hollywood. It's another way to say I'm a terrible actor. I grew up in Connecticut, working class. Not white trash, more like white recycling. Yeah, still garbage, just cleaner. Rinse first. Yeah. All goes to the same place out here. You hear this? All that recycling we do winds up in the same landfill. So inefficient. My mom was a nurse. My dad, a social worker. Caregivers, my parents. Really good at taking care of other people. You know where I'm going with this one. Yeah, not their own kids, because you got to draw the line somewhere, you know? Can't save everybody. I'm Generation X. I know. I look like a young millennial. I am indeed Generation X, and we grew up different. We did. We didn't have all the labels like the kids have today. No, when I was growing up, you were gay, straight, or Prince. Those were the options in the 80s. That was it. Now, we grew up different. I remember I would come home from elementary school, like 10, 11 years old, and I would go in the garage, I'd climb up on this aluminum garbage can, I'd grab a key off the latch, let myself in the house, and I'd wait for my mom to get home from work. And it was cute. They call this latchkey kids. Yet today there's a new name for it. It's called child neglect. Same thing, different generation, that's all. Yeah. Got an unusual last name, Dymkoski. It's Polish. I'm actually half Polish and half Italian. Yeah, which means I love pizza, but I eat the crust first. Old-fashioned Polish joke that some of you get, yeah? Yeah, we grew up different. We just grew up different. My mom's the Italian side. Had a tough Italian mother. Anybody have one of those? Italian mothers are tough. And they swear? One time I was fighting with my mom, like, Mom, why are you always mad at me? Like, what'd I do? And she said, every time I look at you, I see your father. That's my fault, Mom. I didn't fuck him, you did. Time you stop blaming me for your mistakes, don't you think? My dad, more the philosopher type. He told me marriage is the first step to divorce. I was 6 when we first had that conversation. Yeah, most of my friends were raised Catholic. I was raised curmudgeon. Which is just Catholic minus the molestation, actually. I didn't get molested, that's good. I'm not a father, because my father sat me down when I was 12 and he said, always use a condom. He didn't want me to make the same mistakes he made. Me. Yeah. Worked. Totally worked. Ah, man. A lot of talk about identity labels these days. I actually got called a homophobic slur recently. I was walking my pet chihuahua. This really happened. I'm walking my dog in my neighborhood. Car comes flying down the street, almost hits me in the crosswalk. And I was mad. I yelled. I said, "Slow down!" Guy leans out his window and goes, "Fuck you, faggot." I was shocked. I said, "You're driving a Fiat." Come on. I'm not gay, but I don't like to say I'm not gay because then it sounds like I'm afraid to be gay. And I'm not. Afraid to be gay. Or gay for that matter. Not that it matters. I realize the more I talk about this, the more it sounds like I'm in denial. And I'm not. No, really, I'm not. No, it's crazy. You gotta pick a label these days. There's no mystery anymore. In today's terms, I'm a cisgender, heteronormative, hypersexual, pansexual, sapiosexual, demisexual, polyamorous male. In other words, a dude. I'm a dude, not a bro. That's different. Difference between a dude and a bro? About 50 IQ points. I don't make the rules. Now, a bro brags about being alpha. A dude waits for consent. It's the subtle differences. Subtle differences. A lot of my gay friends like to call me an ally. It's another label I reject. Because to me, ally implies supportive but separate. Look, I've lived in West Hollywood 21 years. I'm literally embedded in the community. Not so much an ally as I am an honorary member at this point. I accept. No, I think deep down inside we're all the same. Like every hetero dude, just a meth addiction away from sucking a dick. Being honest, you know? Yeah, LA is a funny place. Everybody wants to tell you look like someone famous, you know? Someone way more successful than you. Like the other day, someone told me I look like Quentin Tarantino. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Because growing up, everyone said I looked like Patrick Swayze. You could just say I'm not aging well. It's fine. I don't know if you young people know that Patrick Swayze was once People magazine's sexiest man alive. Quentin Tarantino, not even close. Never even nominated, as far as I know. No, LA's a funny place. Got to talk astrology. I learned that real quick. Yeah, no, on the East Coast, people talk astrology, but they take it with a grain of salt, you know? On the West Coast, astrology, it's like a second language. If you don't talk astrology, you won't talk to anyone. Like even on the dating apps, women will lead their profiles with their astrological sign. Like it's the most important thing, you know? Sometimes it's the only thing they put, their astrological sign, which is usually the sign for me to swipe left. But I make exceptions. You know, every guy knows there's a hotness threshold for women with astrology. Except if you're Gemini. If you're Gemini, it's automatic. Swipe left. No, you gotta talk astrology. Here's how I do it. Somebody say, "Hey Dale, what's your sign?" I say Libra. Libras are the best, everyone knows, right? Yes, yes. We love our Libras. Inevitably, they go, "Oh, So I go, right? Then they go, of course. Now, I'm a polite guy. So I got to ask them, well, what's your sign? And they say, whatever. Doesn't matter what they say, because I'm going to say, of course you are. They go, I know, right? And that is all you need to know about astrology. And never date a Gemini, just take my word for it. Oh, I feel like I lost 1/12 of the audience there. I'll get you back. Another thing I like to share about myself right up top is that I am hard of hearing. I was born that way. I wear hearing aids. They're so tiny because of technology. Yeah. And I only mention this because it informs everything else about me, you know? I'm an introvert. I can be antisocial. A great athlete. I know that doesn't quite follow. I just wanted to mention that. There's a stereotype that deaf and hard of hearing people are dumb. You've heard this, right? Deaf and dumb. We are not dumb, okay? We just pretend to be so we don't have to talk to you. People always ask, they want to know, like, what % deaf I am. And it doesn't really work that way. You know, deafness, it's like sexuality. It occurs on a spectrum. You know, it goes light, moderate, severe, and profound. And my place on the spectrum is not deaf enough to have a speech impediment, but deaf enough to ignore you and get away with it. Yeah. Great place to be. Yeah. Yeah, so now I'm a person with a disability. It's another label I don't love. Mainly because I think I got it better than you. I can sleep. Naps. Could be the world's greatest napper. Like, I wish napping were an Olympic event. I'd have a gold medal. I'm that good. Fights with my girlfriend, I just take my hearing aids out and it's over. She can have the last word, because it falls on deaf ears, so. Win-win for everybody. Being hard of hearing is the only disability you outgrow. Yeah, because I was a kid, you know, the hearing aids were so big. You know, the world treated me special. They sat me in front of the class. I was a gifted child. Now, I'm just middle-aged. No one cares. I'm just like every other idiot that blasted music in their headphones for 40 years. Who walks around saying, what? Huh? Yeah, you know, every family's got one. They got the TV turned up to 100, right? Nobody in the house can hear. Everybody's yelling. Yeah, you know. I'm not totally deaf. I'm deaf light. That's my rap name. My name is what? My name is huh? My name is still can't hear you. Deaf light. It just needs the right producer. That one's for the Eminem fans. Are there any Eminem fans here? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. I think all people with disabilities should be treated equally amongst ourselves. Why can't I get the handicap spot? What, your disability is better than mine? You got fibromyalgia, can't walk a couple extra feet? Come on. Come on. By the way, fibromyalgia, it's like the gluten allergy of disabilities. Some people have it and it sucks. A lot of other people think they have it, but do they? Really? These are jokes, people. I don't want the fibromyalgia community coming after me. career can't handle it right now. They're brutal on social media. I'm just saying, it seems kind of arbitrary where they draw the line, you know? There's a guy at my gym that parks in the handicap spot every day. Perfectly able-bodied. Like, you should see this guy's workout. He's doing kettlebell swings, box jumps. Finally, one day, I asked his trainer, a friend of mine, I'm like, what is that guy's disability? He's parked in the handicap spot. And he said, guy's HIV positive. So I said, I have AIDS. It had to be said. It had to be said. I showed them to you. Ah, man, crazy times we're living in. Just came out the other end of a midlife crisis for the third time. My therapist said, no, Dale, that's called depression. And then my therapist said if I want to not be depressed anymore, that I should quit smoking weed. And I said, I don't want to be happy that bad. There's a limit, you know? But I'm doing great now, though. Doing great, doing so much better because I gave up something else. Hope. I gave up hope. Who knew? Who knew? Buddhist, Dale. Buddhist knew 3,000 years ago, let go attachment to the outcome, you'll be happy. Oh, man. It's hard to be happy in today's world. I'm rooting for another pandemic at this point. I had a great pandemic last time. Am I the only one that looks back on 2020 with nostalgia? Oh my God, it was great. Everything stopped. We had a chance to relax. No traffic. I remember driving down Sunset Boulevard right here, 5 p.m. on a Friday. Nobody there. I felt like Katharine Hepburn in 1950, just Sunset Strip all to myself. It was amazing. Went through a breakup during the pandemic because nothing forces the issue quite like a mandatory quarantine. We're on good terms, though, my ex and me. You know, we talk, we text. Sometimes we have dinner together. We just don't have sex. You know, like a marriage. Not enough married people to fully appreciate that joke? Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, no, that relationship I was in lasted 4 years. And one before that I was in for 8 years. My relationships are like presidential elections. They come around every 4 years and they have term limits. I always feel like I'm campaigning for re-election, you know? Constantly fundraising. It's bullshit. I like to talk politics, which means people don't like talking to me. That's pretty much how that goes. Now, the current climate, white male and what you might call politically ambiguous. Can't quite tell by looking at me, you know? Like, you know I wasn't at January 6th, but I might know someone who was. Look, I recognize the privilege I have to be able to fit in anywhere. I do. And I like it, I gotta say. You know, I travel all over for comedy. Red states, blue states. I don't want to show my cards too soon. You know, people ask if I'm Democrat or Republican. I say I'm socially liberal, but my favorite song is by Kid Rock. That's bipartisanship right there. Oh, what, I offended all the musicians in the room now? Can't win. Can't win. Nah, Only God Knows Why. It's a great song. It's 25 years old. Great song. Only God knows why. But we are so divided as a country, aren't we? Yeah. I think we got to have empathy for people we don't agree with. I do. You know, like I feel for Trump supporters because I got swept up in a cult once. Really? Yeah, in LA it's called acting class. It it can happen to anyone. Now look, if you're a Trump supporter and you're offended by that joke, I need you to know, I literally went to India with my acting class. I'm a discerning guy. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. Have empathy, people. Crazy times. Been reading about these diseases making a comeback, you know? Ones we thought we got rid of, like measles, tuberculosis, and overt racism. That's a thing again. White people are racist and proud, you know? They're like Instagramming that shit. Like doing Nazi salutes in public on live TV. Used to be something that you'd want to keep under wraps, you know? Kind of like how parents used to not want their kids to get measles. It was a different time. Different time. I think more men need to stand up for women's rights. I think that's important. Yeah. Easy applause line in liberal Hollywood, I know. But no, it's a core value, man. Particularly and specifically abortion rights. Shouldn't just be women talking about this because abortion access affects all of us. Yep. Shouldn't just be women talking about this. Now, having said that, I do have a quibble with the pro-choice crowd. Pro-choice advocates always say that no one's pro-abortion. I am. I don't know why that's controversial to say. Abortion access, apart from being a fundamental woman's right, abortion access helps us solve other problems, like global warming, population growth, mass shootings. I mean, let's face it, deep down inside every mass shooter is a child who wasn't wanted. I think we can all agree we'd want to nip that one in the bud, no? Just trying to help solve the world's problems, you know? Just doing my part here. We are so bitterly divided. You know, I blame the phones. I blame the phones and social media. Now look, I am not a conspiracy guy by any stretch, you know? But they are manipulating us through our phones. Doesn't matter what you believe. Doesn't matter who you voted for. If you have a smartphone, you're being manipulated. Some of us are better fact checkers. That's a fact. I still believe in those. I still believe in facts. I will. But I think historians are going to look back in this time and try to pinpoint the moment that it all went south. You know, the beginning of the end for civil society. And I'm here to tell you that moment is when Facebook overtook MySpace. That was it. Once our parents got on social media, it was over. MySpace, it's like the Studio 54 of social media. Just sexy, hot people, no parents, theme song on your home page, what's not to like, you know? MySpace was the first hookup app. Did way better on MySpace than I ever did on Tinder. I'm currently single. A lot of people complain about being single. I don't. I like being single because I like having money to spend on myself. I take good care of myself. I am the king of self-care. I like that we call it that now too, self-care, you know? It used to just be called selfish. Really happy with the upgrade. I think marriage is too easy. Not a lot of agreement there. Look, I've never been married. I'm not talking about being married. I'm talking about getting married. Way too easy. We just let anybody get married because they feel like it. Like, I think it's crazy that you have to apply for a marriage license, but no test. I mean, other things for which you need a license, you have to pass a test, right? Like driver's license, pilot's license, license to carry a firearm. Okay, bad example. Bad example. I think you should have to prove you can stay together, and then we'll grant you marriage. That's how it should work. I mean, how many weddings have you gone to? Yeah, you took time off work, you got a new outfit, you got plane tickets, a hotel room, bought a gift, only to see them divorced 5 years later. I mean, I haven't been to many. I don't get invited to weddings. Too much of a buzzkill, I guess. Now, prove you can stay together, then we'll grant you marriage. You guys know those Kickstarter crowdfunding campaigns? Your idiot friend posts on Facebook to donate to a stupid movie or whatever. Yeah, Kickstarter is different than the other crowdfunding sites because with Kickstarter, they have a goal amount of money they need to reach in a set amount of time. And if they don't reach that goal in that time, they don't get any of the money. And your credit card, on which you made your donation, doesn't get charged. And I think that's how marriage should work. Yeah! Announce your intention to marry, set up your registry, we'll order your gifts, but set your wedding date for 8 years later. Just prove you can stay together for 2 terms. How hard is that? Look, if you make it through the 7-year itch, you've earned your marriage. Then you'll get your gifts, our cards will get charged, we'll celebrate your wedding. Just save us all the hassle, that's all. I'm a hopeless romantic, what can I say? Oh, man. But I had a great 2020. Tell you a quick story. I woke up one morning right before the pandemic, a couple months before the pandemic started, with vision loss. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I could see over here fine, but I couldn't see over here. I had a big blind spot. Now, I'm hard of hearing, so my first thought was, I sure am giving Helen Keller a run for her money here. And then I thought, one more disability, I could get on America's Got Talent. 3 disabilities, that's a story. Come on. So I went to the eye doctor, and he ran some tests, and he could tell that I couldn't see bottom right quadrant in both my eyes, but he couldn't figure out why. You know, he said the retina looked fine, the optic nerve looked fine. So he sent me to the emergency room out of an abundance of caution, where they did a scan of my brain and found that I had had a stroke. I know. Bad. But I finally got the handicap spot. What does a man have to do, you know? It was a life-changing moment being able to park in LA, I tell you. Now people see how well I've recovered and they're like, oh, so you had one of those mini strokes, one of those precursor strokes. No, I had a full-on fucking stroke. I was in the hospital for a week. So lucky. I'm not your typical stand-up comedian because I have health insurance. Lucky. Let me tell you how lucky I am. Survived the stroke. Timed that stroke for right before the world shut down for a once-a-century pandemic. We had these horrific fires in LA. So many people lost their homes. Entire neighborhoods burned down. My home, my neighborhood, unscathed. I was living in New York City for 9/11. I'm a cat, is what I'm trying to say. I've only got a few lives left. But yeah, stroke survivor. It's another label I don't wear very well, you know? I've been working out 6 days a week my entire life. It's not supposed to happen to me. Didn't make any sense. But people want to know why. Dale, why? Why'd you have a stroke? Like, what caused it, you know? And doctors tried to figure it out. You know, they ran all kinds of tests. And they found I have this condition called PFO, patent foramen ovale, which is literally a hole in the heart. And my girlfriend said, yeah, that tracks. Could have told you that. But this is a common condition. This condition doesn't cause strokes. Like 30% of us have it. But they see a high correlation between this condition and young athletic people having strokes. See how I snuck that in there again? Great athlete. See that? Yeah. Every stroke is different. Every recovery different. Some people lose the ability to speak. Some lose the ability to use one side of their body. I lost the ability to give a fuck. Disappeared. I lost my ambition. I did. I just get up out of bed in the morning and I'm crushing it, you know? I don't have to do a thing for the rest of the day. I am winning. But I had that year off. And I needed it, you know, to rest, recover. And it changed my perspective on life. Made me realize I don't want to spend another minute on this earth doing something I don't want to do out of guilt or shame. So I no longer talk to my family. I'm kidding. Of course I still talk to my family. But through my agent, okay, because you gotta have boundaries. Now I got a new lease on life. And then a couple years later, I turned 50. No one ever believes how old I am. People always want to know, hey, Dale, what's your secret? How do you stay looking so young? And I do have a secret. Naps. And don't have kids. So you can take naps. And don't do crystal meth. That's about all I got for you there. Okay, it's Kiehl's. It's Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturizer. Survived the stroke, newly single, about to turn 50. I decided I needed to do something special for myself. So I took the trip of a lifetime. Went to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Love Brazil. The land of ass. It's the official nickname. I didn't believe it either. Best butts you've ever seen in your life, everywhere, all the time. Brazilians take their fitness seriously. Everybody works out. They have workout stations at bus stops. Honest to God. What do we have? Ads for McDonald's. We are not the same. We are not. Best butts you've ever seen. Now, guys, I think we should be able to talk about physical beauty and not be creeps about it. Okay? Like, I'm a feminist, truly. I was raised that way. Also an ass man. Born that way. A feminist ass man, if you will. Look, I looked into this. It's different parts of the brain, so it's allowed. I'll never forget, though, it was a Tuesday afternoon, and I'm sitting on the beach, and it's packed. Thousands of people. Tuesday! Ass, as far as the eye can see. And let me just explain something about women's swim attire in Brazil. There is no such thing as a one-piece bathing suit, okay? I've been back 3 times. I've never seen one. It's thong bikinis only. I think it's the law. I don't know. Black ass. White ass. Caramel macchiato ass. And that's when I got robbed. Such an easy target, aren't I? Stupid gringo distracted by ass. Swipe my bag right out from under me. Still, best vacation ever. Tinder superstar. I had 24 matches the first night. I haven't had that many matches here in 2 years. And one was more beautiful than the next. To the point I had to do something crazy, something I could never do here. Raise my standards. Started swiping left on 7s and 8s. I'm apologizing. I'm like, I'm only here 9 days. Like, who's got that kind of time, you know? A friend of mine came up to me after a show, woman, feminist. She said, Dale, who are you to judge women's butts? I said, fair question. I'm a celebrity trainer in Hollywood over 20 years. Got a master's degree in exercise physiology. I'm literally an expert on abs. She didn't think that was as funny as I did. Oh, but I love Brazilian culture. I love the people. Brazilians are happy, festive, vibrant. Americans, we're not those things. We're not. We think we are, pretend to be, but we're not. We're miserable, we're depressed, we don't have enough money, not where we want to be in life. Brazilians know how to hang. Hanging out is an art form in Brazil. Everybody hangs out. Doesn't matter if you're young, old, rich, poor. Like, you go out to a club any night of the week and you will see 70-year-olds dressed to the nines dancing the night away. More energy than me. Hanging out is an art form. Starts in the morning at the beach, swim in the ocean, game of volleyball, all afternoon into the night, playing sports, music, dancing. Americans, 2 hours out, too long. You people are thrilled the show's only an hour. You said it. On your way out the door, it's only an hour. We'll be home by 8. Oh, man. It's cultural differences. People ask if I'm scared, to travel alone in Brazil, And I said, look, I did. I got robbed. So, you gotta be careful. I had the chance to visit a favela. If you don't know what a favela is, picture a tiny ramshackle house about the size of this stage, stacked one on top of the other into the mountainside. Plumbing, electricity, hit or miss. It's where the poorest people live. A lot of culture in the favela. But gringo like me can't just walk in there, Got to get escorted in by a local. The police don't even go in there. The favelas are controlled by criminal gangs. And you know who the criminal gangsters are because they've got machine guns strapped to their backs. And they patrol the favela on motorcycle up and down the mountain all day, all night. Machine guns strapped to their backs. Scary. But I could be in Texas if you think about it. Cultural differences, they're real. They are real. Difference between their gun culture and ours. In Brazil, the criminal gangsters don't let the crazy guy carry the gun. Too real, that joke, I know. Best part about my time in Brazil, getting robbed of my cell phone. A week in a foreign country without my phone is the most peace I felt in 20 years. It's amazing. Had a Brazilian girlfriend for a while. So beautiful. So beautiful. I was punching way above my weight. Her most attractive attribute? Didn't speak English, guys. Didn't speak English. Highly recommend a language barrier in a relationship. I barely speak Portuguese, so communication was slow. I don't think that's a bad thing. Most of it was written, translated. Receipts, that means receipts. Highly recommend a language barrier. What I'm trying to say, people, is I wish all of you the experience of getting robbed of your cell phone in a foreign country where you don't speak the language. So I love music. It's another controversial opinion, I know. Now, I always have. Music fascinates me, because music is the one universal human language. No matter where we are on earth, no matter what language is spoken, everybody understands the language of music. Now, when I was a kid growing up, I'm hard of hearing, so it's understandable that my parents and teachers didn't encourage me into music. Couldn't hear, it didn't make any sense, They're like, go play sports, kid, you'll be fine. As I mentioned, I'm Generation X, and I think Gen Xers occupy a special place in the world today, because we lived half our lives before the internet and before the technology boom, and half our lives after. And when I was growing up, first half of my life, the hearing aid technology was analog. And what that means is it amplified all the sound equally, right? So while it made the sound louder for me, it wasn't necessarily easier to hear. And then around the turn of the century, the technology went digital. And if you want to feel old, use phrases like turn of the century. Works like a charm. But digital hearing aids changed my life. I could hear things I could never hear before. Birds chirping. Right? These hearing aids are smart. They know I want to hear the person talking in front of me, not the background noise. They're so tiny, the world doesn't see them, so they don't treat me different. Wasn't saying what all the time, Best way I could describe going from analog to digital hearing aids is like Dorothy in black and white Kansas suddenly dropped into the land of Oz. Fast forward a few years, I became friends with a musician who taught me to play music. And did you know, playing music, great way to rehabilitate the brain after a stroke. So that's what I did all of 2020. I played music, and I tried to remember my jokes. And that's why I think I'm standing before you right now. So I thought that I would play a song that I wrote. I know, it's always a dicey situation when a comedian picks up a guitar. I get it. Deaf, stroke survivor. I couldn't set the bar any lower here, so. Sights unseen around the world. It's bittersweet leaving now. It's the only way I know. The only way I know. It's the only way I know. It ain't easy. Loving me so far away. If you want to leave, I understand. So hard for me to let you go, but it's the only way I know. It's the only way I know. The only way I know. It's the only way I know. Spreading my wings, got gotta fly away. You know I'll be back for you someday. Can only hope things won't change. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. It's the only way I know. The only way I know. It's the only way I know. Thank you, thank you. So, words matter. Representation, inclusivity, important. But we need not be defined by our labels. One time, I was singing my favorite song. And my dad goes, "Dale, you shouldn't sing." Terrible thing to say to a child. I was 40 at the time, but still, a child inside. Always a child inside. Hey, you guys have been an amazing crowd. Thank you so much. I'm Go on the Hollywood Fringe website and leave a review. That helps for future shows and all that stuff. Thank you so much for coming. I love you. Thank you so much.